Welcome back, everyone. We're diving deep today, and it's all about habits.
The good, the bad, and how to make them work for you.
And we've got the perfect roadmap for this journey. Atomic Habits by James Clear.
This book's been huge EE, so even if you've read it,
We're going to find those aha moments, the stuff that makes you rethink the whole process.
because it is a process, right? Not just some overnight, poof, I'm different thing.
Yeah, and Clear nails this right away with the whole Atomic Habits idea.
Tiny changes, but consistent.
And they add up, like it's sneaky but powerful.
Think 1% improvement each day. Doesn't sound like much.
But over a year.
You're talking almost 4 times better.
Whoa, okay, math checks out.
It's like that analogy he uses, the plane taking off.
Tiny course correction at the start.
Ends up in a totally different country by the time you land.
That image really sticks with you. But you know where I get tripped up?
Yeah, me.
When he says, forget goals, focus on systems.
Ah, yeah, that's a bold statement.
Right, like I love setting goals. Are we saying those are bad now?
Not bad, but Clear's point is goals are only part of the picture.
Okay, because I can see that. Two people can have the same goal.
But the one with the system in place.
They're the one who's going to actually get there.
And consistently, too, goals can make you think, okay, I did it, time to relax.
And then you fall back into old habits because the system wasn't there to keep you going.
Bingo. It's the actions behind the goal. That's the real magic.
It's like I could have a goal to win a marathon.
But if your system is staying up late, eating junk...
Not exactly marathon training, is it?
So, flip the script. What's the system that supports that goal?
Enough sleep, good food choices, slowly increasing mileage.
Now we're talking. You're building the foundation for success.
And it's like setting mini goals within the system itself.
To make sure you're on track. But Clear's is even deeper, right?
Oh, yeah. He gets into this whole identity-based habits thing.
This is where it clicked for a lot of people.
Because it's a mindset shift.
Instead of, I want to lose weight.
It's, I am a healthy person.
And that changes how you approach everything.
I remember when I first started writing, I'd say, I'm an aspiring writer.
Almost like it was off in the future somewhere.
But the second I said, I am a writer,
Even with 0 books published.
my actions changed. I prioritized writing time, took courses.
You were living into that identity.
Yeah. And there's research on this, right? The being a voter study.
People who identified that way were more likely to actually vote.
It's not just wishing, it's embodying the change you want.
Powerful stuff.
Nah.
But habits don't just appear out of thin air.
There's a process which Clear breaks down into 4 stages.
Cue, craving, response, and reward.
And he's clear, no pun intended, that if any stage fails,
It's probably not becoming a habit.
like with the writing example, my cue is sitting at my desk, coffee in hand.
The craving is that urge to create, get the words out.
Response is the actual writing and the reward.
Could be that feeling of finishing a piece.
Or seeing it published. That's a nice bonus.
But he doesn't stop there. He gives us tools to work with.
Like the habits scorecard.
Literally write down your daily habits.
Score them good, bad, or neutral. This is where the aha hits for a lot of people.
We think we're self-aware, then you actually see it on paper.
What gets measured gets managed, right?
We're- And this crazy example he uses, Japanese train conductors.
With their pointing and calling system, sounds nuts.
But they confirm every action out loud.
Seems over the top, but it cuts down errors like crazy.
They're forced to be present, in the moment.
Even seasoned pros need that sometimes.
We go on autopilot, that's when bad habits sneak in.
So gotta be deliberate, like those conductors, even with everyday stuff.
Conscious choices, that's the key. Then comes building new W habits, strategically.
Enter habit stacking. This is where it gets fun.
We're hacking our brains a little, using what's already there.
Instead of willpower, which is unreliable.
You piggyback on existing habits. So not, I need to meditate more.
It's, after my morning coffee, I meditate for 5 minutes.
No more staring at the meditation app feeling guilty.
And speaking of making things easier, Clear's big on environment design.
Remember that hospital cafeteria example?
They just move the food around
Healthier stuff front and center. People started choosing it more.
without even thinking about it. So our surroundings are constantly cueing us.
Whether we realize it or not. So get strategic.
Small changes can make a big difference.
Leave your workout clothes out. Put a book on your pillow. Hide the junk food.
Make good habits easy, bad habits harder.
That's the name of the game. And this is where breaking bad habits comes in.
Making it invisible, making it impractical.
If social media is your downfall, uninstall the apps.
Log out on your computer, maybe even a website blocker.
And it's not just tech. Unhealthy snacks, out of sight, out of mind.
Portion them out instead of eating from the bag. You're creating obstacles.
Little roadblocks to stop those bad habits from taking over.
And there's science behind this. The whole dopamine thing Clear talks about.
We get pleasure, brain releases dopamine, reinforces the behavior.
And the modern world. Dopamine everywhere.
Social media, junk food, it's designed to hook us.
But we can use this to our advantage.
Instead of external triggers, create your own WN reward system.
This is where Clear's tips on making good habits instantly satisfying come in.
Track your progress, give yourself a small reward, acknowledge your effort.
We're tapping into that dopamine power, but on our terms.
And there's the social aspect. Can't underestimate that.
Oh, huge EE. I was trying to become a morning person. So tough.
Until you find a friend who's doing the same thing.
We text each other for accountability, celebrate the wins.
Surround yourself with people who support your goals.
And on the flip side, if everyone around you is doing the bad habit,
It's way harder to resist.
it's like we absorb the habits of our environment, whether we like it or not.
So if you're serious about change, look at your social circle.
Are they helping you grow or holding you back?
And this brings us to two of my favorite tools from the book,
Lay 'em on me. I'm ready for some more habit hacks.
reframing and temptation bundling.
Okay, those sound intriguing. Break it down.
Reframing is all about changing how you think about a habit.
I get more appealing.
So instead of, gym time,
I get to move my body, feel energized.
you're finding the positive, focusing on what you gain.
I can already feel the difference. And temptation bundling.
This is genius for those should-do things you just don't feel like doing.
I know those all too well. What's the secret?
You pair it with something you want to do.
Okay, example, please.
Only listen to your favorite podcast while cleaning the house.
Or watch that guilty pleasure show only while on the treadmill.
You turn the chore into the key to unlocking the fun stuff.
Sneaky, I like it. Brain's getting tricked into good behavior.
Speaking of tricking the brain, the biggest hurdle for most people.
Getting started. The procrastination struggle is real.
Clear's got us covered. The 2-minute rule.
Tell me everything. I need this in my life.
It's deceptively simple. Make the new habit so easy it takes under 2 minutes to start.
So not write a novel, it's open laptop, write one sentence.
Exactly. You lower the barrier to entry, no more excuses.
But how does that build the habit?
It's momentum. That first tiny step makes it easier to keep going.
Like pushing a heavy object, hardest part is getting it rolling.
Once it's moving, it's smooth sailing. Then comes habit tracking.
Love this part.
Yeah.
It's visual proof of your progress.
Keeps you motivated, holds you accountable.
My wall calendar, full of big X's for every day I stick to the plan.
It's satisfying to see that chain grow, right?
So satisfying.
Yeah.
And it reminds me, hey, I am the kind of person who does this.
It reinforces that identity shift we talked about.
And don't underestimate accountability. Tell someone your goal.
Way harder to let yourself down when someone else is invested.
It's true. If it's just me, skipping a workout is no big deal.
But if I told my friend, we're working out together tomorrow,
I'm showing up. Clear even mentions habit contracts.
write it down. Goals, actions, consequences, get it signed.
Whoa, serious business. But I bet it works for some people.
That extra level of commitment. Now, even with all this in place,
You'll hit bumps. Boredom, plateaus. It's natural.
that's where the Goldilocks rule comes in.
Remind me, Goldilocks. I'm thinking porridge. Getting off track.
It's about the right level of challenge. Too easy, we get bored.
Too hard, we quit. But as you get better at something,
It naturally gets easier, right? First 5K is killer, then it's a breeze.
so how do you keep challenging yourself then?
Embracing boredom. Clear tells this story about a weightlifting coach.
Who said the best athletes are the ones who can handle the monotony?
Training every day, doing the same lifts.
It's not about excitement, it's that mental discipline.
Professionals stick to the schedule, amateurs don't.
And this ties into reflection and refinement.
Habits aren't set in stone. Gotta adjust as you grow.
Tracking data helps with that. See what's working, what's not.
It's like a self-improvement experiment. And this brings us to identity again.
Clear says our habits are expressions of who we believe we are.
So ask yourself, who is the type of person who achieves what I want?
Then act like that person, even if it feels weird at first. And this can work for breaking bad habits too, right?
Absolutely. Not just trying to quit smoking, but I am a non-smoker.
There's power in that statement.
Identity change is the North Star. Act in line with your desired self.
You reinforce those beliefs, create a positive loop,
But there's a danger getting stuck in a fixed identity.
like I'm the healthy one, so no pizza, Evier.
Not realistic or sustainable.
Clear warns about that. Identity can be a cage.
We got to evolve our sense of self as we learn and change.
So act in line with who you are now, Nobu. but be open to updating that identity.
This is where it gets meta. Clear says identity is a story we tell ourselves.
Wait, a story. So we can rewrite it.
Exactly. Choose a more empowering narrative, one that reflects your potential.
And how do we do that?
Through our actions, through the habits we build.
We're not stuck with the past or the labels. We're the authors now.
Powerful stuff. But there's a trap to watch out for. The constant wanting.
Ooh, I'm sensing a good rant coming on. Let's hear it.
Clear says happiness isn't about goals or possessions, it's about progress.
Yeah, it's the journey, the momentum.
But here's the equation. Satisfaction, liking wanting.
Hold up, I need a whiteboard for this one. Explain the math.
It means how much we enjoy something is only part of it.
It's also about how much we wanted it beforehand.
Desire can actually decrease our enjoyment once we get the thing.
The classic grass is always greener problem.
We fixate on the gap between where we are and where we want to be.
And that gap becomes a source of unhappiness.
He uses the example of email subscribers. 1,000 used to be amazing.
Now you get that many daily and barely notice.
We adapt to success, the joy fades onto the next craving.
So, how do we get off this treadmill?
True happiness, according to Clear, is about inner peace.
Sounds very zen. How do we actually do that?
Stop turning every observation into a problem.
Meaning?
Recognize thoughts and feelings are transient, like clouds.
So instead of getting swept up in them.
Observe without judgment, no need to fix everything.
Detach from the drama in our heads.
Easier said than done, but practice makes progress.
And I can see how that inner stillness would lead to more genuine happiness.
This is where Atomic Habits transcends mere productivity.
It's about living intentionally, being aware, controlling our inner state.
And Clear ties it back to identity, the best identity to cultivate.
A learner.
Someone who's always growing, evolving, getting better at life.
Beautiful way to put it. Not about perfection, but the journey of becoming.
And habits are the tools we use to shape that journey. Picking up where we left off, it really struck me how Clear frames satisfaction in Atomic Habits. It's not just about the reward feeling good. There's this deeper level.
Oh, I'm all about deeper levels. Spill the beans.
So he talks about how our brains are wired for instant gratification.
Eat a berry, feel full, run from danger, you survive.
Cause and effect, boom. But now we live in this world of delayed returns.
Right. Saving money is good, logically, but that new gadget dopamine hit right now.
Exactly, and that mismatch messes with us big time. We know we should do the right thing.
But our caveman brains are like, give me the reward now.
Even if it sabotages us in the long run, it's making promises to your future self.
That your present self just laughs at.
Yeah.
So how do we outsmart our own wiring?
Clear's got a suggestion, and it's kind of brilliant. Make good habits instantly satisfying.
And bad habits instantly unsatisfying, so it's not deprivation.
It's about how we experience the choice.
Okay, less theory, more tactics. And give me some examples.
All right, let's say you're terrible at saving money.
Been there.
Open a separate account, but for something you're really excited about.
Dream vacation, early retirement, whatever gets you fired up.
And every time you resist blowing cash on something dumb.
Transfer even a small amount to that account. So it's not just delaying gratification, you're linking it to a visible reward.
You got it. It's like, didn't buy those shoes. Italy trip is that much closer.
It's sneaky and smart. And this works beyond money, right?
Oh, yeah. Hate working out. Temptation bundling is your new best friend.
Okay, I'm listening.
Only let yourself watch your guilty pleasure show while you're on the treadmill.
So the workout becomes the key to unlocking the thing you actually want to do.
Exactly. And as you're tweaking those habits, tracking progress is key.
Not just for motivation, though. That helps.
But it gives you data. You can actually see what's working, what needs adjusting.
I'm visual, so I love this. My wall calendar is full of big X's. Each day I hit my habit.
There's power in that. It's like a visual reminder of your commitment.
And it reinforces that identity shift we talked about earlier.
Those X's are proof.
Yeah.
You are the kind of person who follows through.
And let's not forget accountability. Telling someone your goal makes you way less likely to flake.
Oh, huge difference. It's easy to let yourself down.
But if I told you we're hitting the gym tomorrow...
Way harder to back out then.
Clear even suggests a habit contract. Sounds intense.
You write down your goal, the actions, the consequences of failure.
And get someone to sign it, holding you accountable.
It's like a personalized terms of service for your own behavior.
Might be a bit much for some, but hey, whatever works.
Now, even with the best intentions, you'll hit roadblocks. Boredom, plateaus, it happens.
Definitely motivation isn't always a straight line upwards.
This is where Clear's Goldilocks rule is so helpful. Remember that.
Vaguely. Remind me, I'm getting distracted by porridge again.
It's about finding that sweet spot of challenge. Too easy, we get bored.
Too hard, we just quit. Makes sense. But as you master a habit,
It naturally gets easier, right? Like that first 5K is brutal.
then it becomes your go-to easy run.
So how do we keep pushing ourselves?
Good question.
This is where embracing boredom becomes key. Clear tells the story about a weightlifting coach
I think I remember this one.
who said the difference between the best athletes and everyone else.
Is the ability to handle the boredom of daily training,
It's not about the activity always being exciting.
but the mental toughness of showing up consistently even when it's not.
Professionals stick to the schedule. Amateurs let life get in the way.
So connect this to habits for those of us who aren't elite athletes,
It's about showing up for your chosen habit even when it's not glamorous.
even when you'd rather be doing something else.
And this ties into the idea of reflection and refinement.
Those aren't just buzzwords, are they?
Not at all. Habits aren't set in stone. Gotta adjust as you grow.
That's where tracking data comes in handy. You can see, okay, this isn't working anymore.
Time to tweak it or maybe swap it out for something more impactful.
It's treating your self-improvement like an experiment.
Always gathering data, refining your approach.
And this loops back to identity, right? It all connects.
It always does. Clear says our habits are expressions of who we believe we are.
So, if you want to change your habits,
You gotta start by changing your beliefs about yourself.
ask yourself, who is the type of person who achieves what I want?
And then, the hard part, act like that person.
Even if it feels fake at first, like you're playing dress up.
That's where the magic happens. Because the more you act in line with that desired self,
The more you start to believe it, and then it becomes the truth.
it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy, but in a good way.
This can work for breaking bad habits too, right?
Absolutely. It's not just, I'm trying to quit smoking.
It's, I am a non-smoker. That's a statement.
Powerful stuff. But there's a catch. We gotta be careful.
Okay, what's the catch?
We can get stuck in a fixed identity. Like, I'm the healthy one, no pizza ever.
Which is obviously not realistic or sustainable.
Exactly. Clear warns about that identity can be a strength, but also a cage.
If we cling to it too tightly, we stop growing.
We need to evolve our sense of self as we learn and change.
So it's a balance, right? Act in line with who you are now.
But be open to updating that identity as you go.
This is where things get really meta.
Because Clear suggests that identity is actually just a story we tell ourselves.
Hold up, a story. So like, we're all just making this up as we go along.
Kinda. We have a narrative about who we are, but we can choose a different one.
One that's more empowering, more expansive, more aligned with who we want to be.
And how do we rewrite that story?
Tell me, I'm ready for a plot twist.
Through our actions, through the habits we choose to cultivate.
So we're not stuck with the past or the labels we've given ourselves?
We can become the authors of our own stories.
That's a powerful thought. But with this power comes responsibility, right?
Oh, absolutely. And there's one sneaky trap we need to be aware of.
Lay it on me, I'm all ears.
The relentless pursuit of wanting clear argues that true happiness.
It's not about achieving some external goal or acquiring more stuff.
It's about the feeling of progress.
Makes sense. It's not the destination, it's the journey, the momentum.
Exactly. But here's where it gets interesting. He introduces this equation.
Oh no, math again.
Don't worry, it's simple. Satisfaction equals liking minus wanting.
Okay, break that down for me.
It means that our level of satisfaction isn't just about how much we enjoy something.
But also about how much we craved it beforehand.
The more we fixate on something, the more we build it up in our minds.
The less satisfied we might be when we actually get it.
It's like that feeling of finally getting that promotion.
And then being like, wait, is this it?
Classic grass is always greener syndrome. We fixate on that gap.
Between where we are and where we want to be.
And that gap becomes a source of constant dissatisfaction.
It's like he says about email subscribers. 1,000 used to be a huge milestone.
Now you get that many daily, and it barely registers.
We adapt to success, the joy fades, and it's on to the next thing to crave.
It's a never-ending cycle. So how do we break free from this wanting, striving treadmill?
Yeah, asking for a friend.
Clear suggests that true happiness lies in cultivating inner peace.
Okay, that sounds lovely, but also kind of vague. How do we actually do that?
He says it starts with stopping turning every observation into a problem.
So like, not catastrophizing every little thing.
Exactly. It's about recognizing that our thoughts and feelings are transient.
Like clouds passing by, they come and go.
We don't need to get swept up in every one.
So instead of getting attached to those thoughts and feelings,
We learn to observe them without judgment, without needing to fix them.
it's about detaching from the drama of our own minds.
Easier said than done, I know. But like any skill, it takes practice.
I could see how that kind of inner stillness would create space for more genuine happiness.
And this is where Atomic Habits goes beyond just productivity hacks.
It becomes a guide for living with more intention, more awareness.
And ultimately more peace, regardless of what's happening around you.
So it's not just about achieving goals, it's about becoming the kind of person.
Who can navigate the ups and downs of life with more grace and resilience.
And that brings us to what might be the most mind-blowing concept in the whole book.
But I think we should save that for the grand finale of our deep dive.
You're killing me with suspense. All right, we'll leave our listeners hanging
Join us for part 3, where we'll reveal the final piece of the puzzle.
and explore how atomic habits can help us unlock a whole new level of happiness and fulfillment. Okay, we're back. Final part of our Atomic Habits deep dive, and you left us hanging.
With the cliffhanger, no less. Promised a mind-blowing concept.
Don't hold out on us. We talked about happiness being about progress, not the finish line.
But there's a twist to that, a deeper level.
Hit me with it.
The ultimate progress, Clear says, is becoming less reactive.
Less reactive to
Yeah.
what exactly? Life? Other
It's-
people?
To everything, the ups and downs, the stuff that throws us off.
Okay, now we're getting philosophical. I'm trying to follow, but
It's like this. True progress isn't just external achievements.
it's internal too.
It's about cultivating inner stability, being calm even when things are chaotic.
I can see that being valuable, but how is it progress? Isn't that more like staying still?
He uses this metaphor: imagine you're a boat on the ocean.
Okay, I'm picturing it.
The external circumstances, those are the waves. Always changing, calm, stormy, you name it.
But your inner state, that's like the anchor.
Yeah.
If your anchor is strong, you can handle those waves no matter how big.
Exactly. Weak anchor, constantly getting pulled up, you're at the mercy of the storm.
And our habits are, what, the links in that anchor chain?
You got it. Every time we react without thinking, give in to a craving, let emotions rule us.
We're weakening that anchor.
But when we respond thoughtfully, make a conscious choice, stay calm under pressure.
We're strengthening it. So it's not about being emotionless. It's about building that resilience.
The ability to choose our response, not be controlled by our reactions.
This is where the self-help stuff gets almost spiritual.
Because it's not just about doing more, it's about being more.
Present, aware, in control of our inner world.
And Clear ties this back to identity, remember?
Everything comes back to identity with him.
The most empowering identity, he says, is that of a learner.
Someone who's constantly growing, evolving, getting better at navigating life's challenges.
Not about being perfect, but embracing the journey of becoming.
And our habits, they're the tools we use to craft that journey.
So all those strategies we talked about, habit stacking, temptation bundling, the 2-minute rule,
Environment design, all that stuff.
they're not just about getting things done.
They're about building inner strength, resilience, that ability to respond, not react.
It's like we've been given this blueprint not just for better habits, but for a better life.
A life grounded in awareness, intention, and that deep inner peace.
Knowing we're not at the mercy of external circumstances or our own emotions.
That's powerful stuff. And I gotta say, as we wrap up here,
I'm feeling it too.
I'm left with this sense of hope. We're not stuck with the habits we have.
We can change, we can evolve.
And we can create lives that are both successful and deeply fulfilling.
So remember those tiny changes, the atomic habits? Use them to build your skills.
Shape your identity. Cultivate that inner peace.
Become the architect of a life that truly reflects your potential.
And that, my friends, is a wrap on our Atomic Habits deep dive.
Hope it's given you not just a summary of the book.
But a new way to look at your own habits, your own journey of self-improvement.
Until next time, remember, a journey of 1,000 miles.
Begins with a single step. Keep those tiny gains coming, folks.
And keep diving deep. We'll see you on the next episode, exploring another world of fascinating ideas.